Hello everyone, my name is Tom. I run the blog HBGWHEM with HeavyOnMakeup.tumblr.com. If you've seen my videos before, you probably know that at the end I put all my likes together into like one big thing, and then I put it to music. And the band that I put it to is always This Romantic Tragedy. Here's the latest CD. Yes, I actually purchased CDs. I suggest you do the same. And tomorrow, I'm leaving my apartment for something other than work, because they are performing in New Jersey, in Clifton, New Jersey. I don't know if you're in the area. You're probably in Australia, because no one from America likes me. But if you are on the East Coast, you should go and see them, because it would be a good way, since I know you always enjoy when I do those videos of my likes. You know, I receive hundreds of thousands of comments, just like, I really like this band and I wish there was a way to support them, or support you, or date you, or marry you. But I can't help you on most of those. But if you are on the East Coast, then you can go see This Romantic Tragedy. They're playing in Clifton at a place called Dingbats, which, like, I can't be choosy. These guys are from Las Vegas, so they're gonna come, but, like, I mean, Dingbats, really? Is that the best they could do when they were naming the place? They're like, alright, we're gonna create a place for kids to go. It's going to have a bunch of small, great shows, you know, everyone likes that, where, like, on One Tree Hill, they had that with Trick, but they already took Trick, and they're like, oh, well, you know, tricks are for kids, and kids like tricks, so what could we do, what could we name this place that sounds like something, you know, kids like? And they were probably just like, well, Unprotected Sex, but you can't name a club Unprotected Sex, because, I don't know. Some guy would probably be like, isn't that a little gay? And then they were like, you're right, no, we can't do that. We should, you know, let's just go on Perez Hilton's website and see what language he uses, because he's down with the kids, right? Like, he's hip, he's with it. And then so they're like, we'll just name the club Amazeballs. Oh, probably also a little gay. And then they were like, how about, Dingbats, because it's crazy, and bats are heterosexual by nature, and so no one will question it, and so that's probably how they named the club. But I'm getting off topic here. The point is that they are performing, and you should really show up to it, because if I'm leaving my apartment for it, you know it's going to be good. And, oh, I also made this video because I have a new webcam, so I think that it's clearer now, and you can see how old I am. Like, you can see the wrinkles in my forehead. And so I just wanted to make that, and I cut my hair, so I wanted to show Alexa and Jillian that, because my hair was, like, scaring people before, and I wanted to cut it for a while, but it didn't occur to me until I was watching Criminal Minds, because, like, I don't watch that normally, but Dan Scott was on it, and again, like, if you know me, you know I stan Dan Scott more than anything ever. Like, I honestly, besides my River Court Tumblr, I should have a Tumblr called Stan Scott, where it's just standing Dan Scott and him doing stuff. But there's probably, like, already a Stan Scott out there, and there's definitely someone, you know, more committed to standing Dan Scott than I am, that he probably changed his name and then got that Tumblr, one would assume. But basically, I watched Criminal Minds, the show, because Dan Scott was on it, and he was, like, the bad guy, of course, because he has to be a bad guy, because I guess that's just his motive. So he was playing Dan Scott running for mayor, even though Dan Scott had already won mayor in One Tree Hill, and then eventually was unmayored, demayored, when he admitted to killing Keith. And so in this show, they pretended that didn't happen, and they named Dan Scott something else, like, you know, John Scott. And on the show, one of the dudes there is Matthew Gray Gubler, and it reminded me because Jillian said that I should cut my hair like Matthew Gray Goobler so I would just look like a coke addict and not a sociopath. But I actually watched this show, and has anyone seen that before? Like, do you know Matthew Gray Goobler's character? He's just like an autistic guy that just gives out facts, where he's like 90% of home invasions happen in the first 24 hours of someone opening a door. And then everyone's just like, great, thanks, guy who is just glorified Surrey. Thank you for that, 2-second bit of information. And one of the things, basically the whole plot of this was that Dan Scott was running for mayor of like something in the Midwest, like Utah or something like that, where who knows what goes on there. And basically they wanted to start a race war. And so what this guy was doing was, it was like it was like the most labor-intensive race war thing you could ever do, because he was like doing a home invasion on white families and then dragging in people that he drugged with like oxycodone or some Oxycontin or one of those, OxyClean. He was injecting them with something oxy-ish, and so we would drag them in there, and he'd put them in there, and then they would be like, oh, it's a race war, and Dan Scott would be like, I need to fight this, like, even though he was friends with Skills and stuff like that. Like, I mean, they weren't best friends, and granted, he didn't steal Jamie. Nanny Carey stole Jamie, and then Dan got him back. So, like, him and Skills are pretty much buddies because he did Skills a favor there. So, obviously, Dan Scott isn't, in the mood for a race war. I don't think, personally. I don't want to put words in Dan Scott's mouth. If he is, then... Well, because then Skills ended up dating Deb, so maybe he's like, you're dating my ex-wife. So, maybe in the end, Dan Scott did want a race war. And that's what they were trying to create with this. But then Matthew Gray Goobler, like, everyone's like, oh, well, we need to study MOs on this and everything like that. And Matthew Gray Goobler was the one who got the idea, and he's like, actually, the Manson family killings, when the family went in there and killed Sharon Tate, they would leave behind watermelon rinds so as to incite racial tension. And I was like, is that a real fact? Like, is that really... Because obviously Matthew Gray Goobler, he was like semi-autistic on that, so they're always like, oh, whatever, we'll Google it later. But is that like a real thing? Like, did they think that would work, where it's like they're just sitting in the police station and they're like, well, you caught us, you found us on the ranch, and there's irrefutable evidence, and we have all that criminal history, but then like someone just like busts in the door and they're like, let those people out of the handcuffs, and they're like, why is that? And they're like, I just said let them out. And then so they like undo the handcuffs on the Manson family, and they're like, we went back to the crime scene and did a little digging ourselves. You know what we found? And then they just hold up the bag and they're like, watermelon rinds. It can't be them. And they're like, well, maybe they like watermelon. And so they would just ask the family, they would be like, what do you think, what are your thoughts on watermelon? You like it? And the whole Manson family's like, oh, if there's a picnic, I mean, I'll have some, but I'm not going to go out of my way to have watermelon. And they're like, see, innocent, we busted these innocent people all this time. It's obvious that black dudes went into Sharon Tate's house, stabbed her, and then ate her watermelon with the knife. I think this is a pretty open and shut case here. We just need to find out who did it and drive these poor Manson family people home, because we just put them through hell when we had the evidence sitting right in front of us, just rinds sitting right there. And they're like, could we drop you guys off? And they're like, yeah, just drive us out to the Mojave Desert near those open graves, and we'll be pretty cool. I think we'll just forget about this, mistakes happen. Like, is that honestly what they thought was going to happen by leaving those rinds there? I don't know. But the whole point is that never watch Criminal Minds ever. If you watch a crime procedural, like, you might as well just end your life. You might as well, turn into one of those people that thinks that leaving rinds will will get you out of crimes or something like that, because it's just pointless. But anyways, this is a lot longer than I intended it to be, and I was just trying to say, tomorrow, show up at Dingbats in Clifton, or Amazeballs, I don't know, maybe they'll change the name to get more people to this concert, and you can listen to This Romantic Tragedy. I'm not going to have a song at the end of this, because I haven't gotten enough likes yet, because the only people having good seasons are Daphne. But maybe I'll just put a stream of Daphne pictures up there, and you can look at that while you listen to one of the songs, and then tomorrow you'll just be like, oh my gosh, I get to meet Tom, I get to think about Daphne, and I get to listen to this romantic tragedy. This is just the greatest day of my life. I want to marry the 27th of February, move to New Jersey, and not start a family ever, because kids are weird. Like, look at that. He's got like a congressman haircut. He's got like the Rick Santorum, where he just went to the barbershop and he's like, just give me the pre-mayor, post-mayoral Dan Scott. Feeling that. And is that watermelon? You mind if I get a slice? Okay, this is too long.
It's all for you. Clear your mind, tell me what you're waiting for. It's all for you. We can all break through.